welcome back to YT Movie Summary. Today we are diving into a film called Nocturnes. The movie begins with a lady playing the violin. Her name is Moyer. She then stops after hearing the bell of the clock. The sun comes up, revealing the mysterious writing on the wall of her room. She then puts her violin gently on the table and then herself. The movie then jumped into a montage of two sisters growing up and playing piano through their childhood. Juliet and years later, Juliet is in her room. When she hears her family having a party, she goes to the kitchen and ends up talking to them. The family friends mistake her for her sister Vivian, who is more known for her music. Juliet seems to be living in her shadow. Her dad then reminds her tomorrow they are moving to music college together. The next day he drops them at the school and Vivian runs to her friends having fun while Juliet seems more reserved. Before the classes begin, the school makes a speech and an homage to Moyer, which is the incident that happened at the beginning of the film. This was 6 weeks ago. In her memoir, fierce competition is then launched among the students who do not waste a minute to get to work. Later that day, Juliet and Vivian grab lunch with a friend and Vivian's boyfriend Max. Max keeps reminding them that Vivian should win this, making Juliet a little bit uncomfortable, right? A professor drops a book with a similar symbol to what was on Moyer's wall. This is her book. Juliet decides to take it, and the training and classes then continue. Juliet watches how great her sister is playing through the window. Her heart beating accelerates. This makes her rehearse even harder until very late at night. But when she is about to leave, she hears someone playing piano in a room. But when she goes to the room where she hears the piano, she then sees the same symbol on the wall. She immediately opens Moyer's book, which has some petitions, and starts playing them cask. One of the teachers then enters and tells her, "Your sister doesn't know you are playing the same piece as her for the competition." She begs him not to tell her. Juliet keeps turning the pages of Moyer's book, which has so many weird symbols. The next day, the competition begins with students playing their pieces, one by one. Juliet is so nervous but decides to go last. As soon as the professors announce the piece she is playing, Vivian is shocked. The tension between the two sisters is at its highest. As Juliet starts playing, she plays the piece with even eyes closed. She is in such a trance that she finds herself in the corridors of the school, all red and green. She goes to the room where Moyer had the incident. She goes to the balcony, and from there she sees herself with a standing ovation looking. Juliet then wakes up to Professor Gordon, who informs her she passed out later that day. Vivian leaves a nasty message to Juliet. She runs after her. She is sorry, but Vivian tells her she stole her piece. Vivian reminds her, "I knew you were jealous of me. Now everyone does too." At this moment, the results of the competition are been shown. Juliet checks and is shocked. Vivian won the competi. She becomes more infuriated. She asks Professor Roger if he is proud of her. He confirms he is. She then lashes out at him, saying that since she was 9 years old, she dedicated her entire life to playing piano. She finishes by asking him if he voted for Vivian. He stays silent. She continues by telling him that he is jealous that she is ambitious. She calls him a drunk, pathetic, wannabe player. Roger immediately slaps her and she leaves. The next day, because of the slap, Roger gets fired from the school. Juliet then goes to her locker and finds some disgusting substance. She gets mad and goes to confront Vivian, who put it there. Vivian then makes peace with Juliet, saying they are even. Juliet then let Vivian know that after Roger fired, they're now putting her with Cask, Vivian's teacher. The next day, her first class with Cask begins. He asks, why did she change her original? She confesses that it was to beat Vivian. She asks questions about Moyer and he tells her she was the best. That same night, Juliet goes through Moyer's book for hours. At one point, she discovers a hidden pattern and the end is missing as a page has been torn off. At this time, Max texts her and invites her to a secret party they're having in the middle of nowhere. Juliet then catches Vivian talking on the phone and realizes she's cheating on them. Moments later, Max and Juliet talk. Juliet reveals to him that she stole Moyer's book. This shocks him. She tells him it's like the book is calling her. Both get closer and Juliet tells him she was never kissed. Vivian catches them and is mad as she sees how they have been looking at each other. She pushes Juliet, who pushes her back and runs away. Vivian chases after her and falls from over a. The next day, Juliet wakes up and sees that one of the drawings in the book resembles the position her sister was laying. Another one reminds her of Roger. Principal Gordon immediately calls her to her office. She tells her that Vivian and Max are suspended for venturing into the woods the way they did. She adds that Vivian has broken bones. She will be taking a 6 months break from piano, but then Gordon reveals the real reason they called her. They're offering the leading position, the one Vivian. She immediately accepts it. The poor Vivian then walks in extremely mad. That same night, Juliet finds Vivian, who tells him the doctor told her she may never play the same ever again. Juliet then confronts her that she knows she cheated on Max before leaving. Vivian tells her she knows something is up with her. Juliet immediately starts making a bunch of research. The next day she confesses to Max that these drawings are happening to her and that these things were also happening to Moyer, but Max thinks she is overthinking. Juliet takes this moment to reveal to him that Vivian is cheating on him. He then goes on to have a big scene confronting Vivian while Juliet looks at them with a smile. One night Max announces to Juliet that he and Vivian. Juliet jumps on him and both sleep together. The next day, the parents are back in town and celebrating Juliet and Vivian's birthday. Cask is also invited. Vivian gets so angry and throws the cake at him. Later that night, Cask invites Juliet to talk to us. Tomorrow is the big day. She kisses him out of nowhere. He is shocked, but Juliet reveals to him that she found out that he was sleeping with Vivian. He explains to her why she will never be part of the great. She then runs away, comes back to her room, opens Moyer's book, and realizes the drawings have shown what she did with Max and what just happened with Cask. The next event is supposed to happen on the missing page. After it, the pages are blank. Juliet closes her eyes and draws something. Her standing on a cliff, she gets scared and burns the entire book. The next day, the big school presentation takes place. Students have worked 4 years for. Backstage, Vivian surprises Juliet by telling her Max told her what happened. She asks, what did she do to deserve it? She was a great sister, and Juliet took everything away from her. Juliet just tells her, I'm now better than you. Moments later, Juliet is brought to the stage for her big moment. Her parents are there. She looks around and starts freaking out right before playing. She runs away and cries as loud as she. She then goes to the roof and does exactly what she drew in the book. A light appears and she steps forward. She then comes back to herself, realizing it was all in her head. Everyone is clapping around. She just finished her amazing performance. She then really comes back to herself and realizes this amazing performance was in her head, and she, unfortunately, did what Moyer did. The movie ends. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and check out other movie summaries we have on our channel.